Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I wanted to do another one of my chopping block videos. I found it difficult over the last year, since the last round of declutters that I've done, to really get rid of anything that I held on to. I felt like I'd already gone through the process, but I've added a lot of stuff. And by adding things to my collection and not paring it down, I'm still overwhelmed, and I do have a couple of favorites, so I'm really trying to be good about knowing what I'll use, knowing what I won't, and moving on from there. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and I am going to start with this. I bought this, I think it was last fall during the sale at Sephora. This is Tatcha's Pearl, and I rarely use it. And it's a great product, and especially on days when I just need, that's too much, even that is too much. When I don't wear makeup, like today would have been a great day. I've already been out running errands. It's like 10 o'clock this morning and it's still 18 degrees outside. So cold. This just makes all the difference between brightened under eyes and dark circle under eyes. So I think I'm going to leave this on my counter just as a reminder to use it, because it had gotten kind of lost in my skincare stash and I hadn't been using it. Oh, that's a lot better. You can still see my dark circles, but it's so much better. I have got this tiny sample from Too Faced. This is their Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. I can almost guarantee you that this is not something I see myself really using, but I'm using it today because I'm also planning on using the corresponding foundation. Thought, well, let's give them a good try and use them together. Somehow, in my 40s, I thought matte foundation was a good idea. I do deal with, let's just put this on, I'll just keep telling you. I think the reason behind this was the fact that I have combination skin and that my combination skin breaks up around my nose. I thought, well, maybe a matte primer and a matte foundation. Well, one was a sample, but I thought maybe a matte foundation will keep that from happening. This is in the shade Snow. When I purchased this, this was the lightest shade they had. It still feels a little dark, but we'll make it work. The problems I've been having, even with certain more matte foundations, is product still breaking up on my nose and seeing red come through on my nose. And out of my, I don't have a lot of redness, but out of my entire face, I have more discoloration, redness in this area here. So for concealer today, I thought I'd pull out the Cover FX Power Play, and this is in the shade N Light 1. This is the second one of these I purchased. The first one I purchased, I didn't return like a not smart person. I'm always trying to tell my kids not to say degrading things about themselves, so I can't sit here and call myself stupid, but my pocketbook felt like I was stupid. I think the most important thing to remember is that every place you buy makeup these days has a return policy. And the reason I say that is because Ulta, Walgreens, Walmart, Sephora, CVS, Rite Aid, I don't know where else you might be picking up stuff, Target, they will all take back product, even if you've used it. I don't know that you know that. I didn't know that until about 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought that, you know, once it's used, like with clothes, well, that's it. These days, with so much online purchasing and easy returns, if you don't make it easy for us customers, we're going to go someplace else, and they want our business. That's not bad. You know, it all comes down to how it settles. I have a little tiny smile line right here, and the more weight I lose, the more I see my nasal labial folds like, we're coming to play. So if I can keep it from settling in this area, I'll feel really good about it. So I'm going to use something today that I had a similar product in my project pan and I just couldn't do it. I had to get rid of it. I was like, you are not for me. So I'm curious about this. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Illumination. I try not to be high maintenance. And I know how that can seem like a bad statement coming from me. I want to use one powder all over my face. Have I been known to use multiple powders? Yes. But when a girl is busy and you gotta get somewhere, you don't have time for 2 powders, much less 3 powders. So I want a powder that I can trust everywhere. I'm gonna put this on where I think I have most problems. And then we'll use a larger brush everywhere else. I just want to get it in targeted areas. All right, and then I'm just going to go with the larger brush. I'm worried because this powder seems, oh, you can see it, the white cast. Woo! This might not have been a problem before. This is again, we're all, oh yeah. I have other powders that leave a white cast. Let's see what it looks like when we spray some setting spray over the top. But when I bought this, this was not a problem. I was the lightest shade. I spent 6 years in bed, like 16 hours a day. My face never saw the light of day. And when it did, like if I had to go pick up my kids after school, I was wearing SPF 50 and a hat, like a ball cap or something. I was sick for so long. I've had 4 brain surgeries. Like I even had surgery yesterday. It wasn't brain surgery. It was to take out a stent that I had placed after my gallbladder fiasco earlier in September this year. So I finally had my stent removed. It was kind of like the last step to be like, and you're back to healthy. So 4 surgeries later. So I think this is my 14th surgery, the one that I had yesterday. But I'll just tell you, my health has never been really good. And so for those 6 years where I didn't go outside, I've always been fair. And then you take the sun away and your skin just fades. I felt like a vampire. Not the sparkly, shiny kind. No. Like the dead coming out of the grave kind. And I suppose this powder looked great a couple years ago before I started living life and I finally got out of bed. But I'm finally glad to be back to that point where, you know, I don't have to be the palest shade in every foundation, every concealer. And I have a lot of concealers and foundations that are too light for me now that are definitely going to get decluttered in this. It's nice to know that this it sits nicely on the skin and it's a good color for me. So for bronzer today, I'm using this from Nars. This is their sun washed formula. It kind of has that, I don't know, the lines on it. The lines are gone in the middle. I've definitely used it. This is in the shade Laguna, but I'm gonna do just some minimal bronzing with this today. This powder is a little bit dark for me. I thought that this Sun Wash Diffuse Bronzer would be nicer because it wouldn't be too heavy, but I still got a shade that was I probably wouldn't just go and pick up their regular Laguna. I think it's a little too dark for my skin tone. I don't know that I love this bronzer, and I paid a lot for it when I got it. I'm gonna go a little bit out of my usual order today. I'm gonna skip blush and highlight. That's normally what I would do next, and I'm gonna put on some brows because the not having brows is a little hard for me. All right, so for brows today, I am using, this is the Shape and Shade Brow Tint in Spiked from MAC. On one side, we have a little, I don't know, sponge smudger. There is product in the cap and it's spring loaded, so every time you put it on and twist it closed, it fills up with that. On the other side, I have this. I love the idea of a really thin brow marker. But these two colors are so different, and the applicator on the spongy side, it's hard for me. And I wish I had a spoolie, but you know, I have a spoolie here in my collection. I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna kind of brush these all down, because where I really need this tinted powder is right in here. Oh, it kind of, I like that it grabs and clings, but not always in a good way. This is way too red. Way too red compared to the rest of what I've got going on here. It's almost like a purpley red. Can you see that? Like, oh, we've committed. We're going now. And of course with this, the lightest strokes possible. I'm not happy with this. I thought I would pull out this. I haven't used it in a long time. This is my Pat McGrath Mothership. I think this is 3, the Sublime. And I wish it said on the back. There are 2 matte shades in here. I have a matte black and a matte brown. I'm gonna start with the brown and I'm gonna mix it with the shade above because it is pretty dark for me. And I'm just gonna start by placing this out here in the outer edge. So I'm going to take this shade here. It's not the lightest, but it's the lightest non-special shade. And I'm just going to use this, maybe I should have started with this, all over the lid. It's got a little bit of shimmer to it, not a lot. It's more like a satin shade. It's very pretty. I'm going to take this kind of more burgundy shade here and just deepen up the outer corner just a little bit, but it's going to bring some warmth to it. Let's add some stuff to the lower lash line. I'm going to take a combo of these two shades right here on the lower lash line. I'm going to pick up the darkest brown first and then the other one over the top, and we're just going to hit the lower lash line with this. I'm going to take some of that lightest shade on a smaller, denser brush and just hit it right here on the front third of my lower lash line. This is actually really pretty. Why don't I use this more? This is why I do these videos. I want to use one of these special shades, but I think to get it to stay where I want it, I'm going to need to wet it. So I'm going to pick it up first with a flat brush like this and then spray it with some Fix Plus. These special shades, and they look so pretty, especially swatched. I can never get it to lay down on my eye. Ooh, maybe fingers. Maybe fingers. I'm going to try a brush that's a little fluffier, and I'm picking up, I started with this shade, I'm picking up this shade right now. Love this one. Has a really pretty gold peachy duochrome to it. I'm going to go in with the mixture of the lighter brown and burgundy shade right out here on the outside to cover up any place where I maybe got a little too much sparkle. So I just curled my lashes and I'm going to put on some liner in my upper waterline. Today I'm using the Clinique High Impact Custom Black Kajal. I think I got this back when I was doing a full face of the first makeup I ever purchased, and then I forgot to use it in the video. The one thing you'll notice is that it's already transferring to my lower waterline, just with the blink. I guess that's okay, maybe we'll just put some down here too. For mascara today, I am using the Urban Decay Perversion, and then I'm going to use the Clinique Lower Lash Mascara on the bottom. I've had it and I just keep forgetting to use it, so we'll do two different mascaras today. This also ties into my need not to want to be high maintenance. I like to have just one mascara, just like I want to have one powder I can trust to use everywhere on my face. The problem I had was last time I wore it, it smudged and it flaked everywhere. So we'll see whether it was the heat of the summer, this is good for the rest of the year, or whether it was just not for my eyes. I forget how good this is. And maybe it's just the teeny tiny brush that I feel like I can get closer to my lash line without getting mascara everywhere. Oh, I've got something in my eyeball. I am watering and ruining all my eye makeup and I'm so not happy, so give me a minute. So I totally ruined my makeup and I'm having to redo my under eye, I think maybe on both sides. Better clean this one up a little bit more. Taking just the smallest amount of concealer on my finger from the doe foot. I didn't want to even touch it to my face because that would be too much. And just kind of tap it out. And I'm going to redo my lower lash line, my lower lashes, and I've cried enough. I feel like I've cried all of the Kajal off on this eye, so I'll be right back after I fix it all. For blush today, I'm going to use the Balm Spring. I wanted something that was a little peachier and corally in look, but I am going to use a really light and fluffy brush so it's not too heavy because I do want more of that just natural look. And I'm going to hit it mostly on the apples of my cheeks and then kind of run it back a little bit. For highlight, I'm using Ofra's Rodeo Drive. You can tell by the packaging, I've had this one for a while, but I don't use it that often. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shade, but it's very intense. Oh yeah, it's like, hello. I'm gonna give myself a spray. This is not a spray that I'm trying to finish up or don't have any solid feelings about. It's my favorite one. It's the Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist from Glow Recipe. I'll at this rate, I'm gonna finish it really soon. For lip liner today, I'm gonna use Lipstick Queen's Bare Nude. I don't even know if they sell this anymore. I feel like I have a lot of Lipstick Queen lipsticks that they don't sell, they don't make. I feel like when the person who started the line, her name is Poppy, forget her last name. I feel like when she sold it, it all kind of like went down really fast. I was on their website the other day and there was nothing on it. It was definitely dry. For lipstick today, I'm going to be using this. This is the Enamored Lip Gloss Stick from Marc Jacobs in the shade Sugar Sugar. Oh, yeah. This is nice. So let's talk about it. Things that I loved. This is staying right here so I can reach for it every time I do my makeup. This, the color is good. The formula is nice and it doesn't look heavy. And it could be that I used a sponge that absorbs a lot of product so I didn't get too much of it on my skin. You know, maybe this is the right sponge for me after all. I need to try this some more. I like the coverage that I'm getting from it. I like the way it looks. It is just a hair drier than my two other favorite concealers, which is the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Concealer, Serum Concealer, as well as the Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. This one I think is nice. I do need to get rid of the other shade because I have a shade lighter than this and it's too light. I feel like my skin looks good in spite of this. This is not a bad powder. It's just really white. It does have some illuminating properties to it, but it's like, it reminds me of like Elizabethan makeup, you know, where you put the lead paint all over your face and then you powder it white. I feel like this would have been great for that. But since that's not the look I'm going for, this is something I'm going to be letting go. Another thing I'm not going to keep is this diffused, their Sun Wash Diffused bronzer. It's nice. I have other bronzers I like better. Truly, truly, truly. I do really like this blush though. So the blush is going to hang out, as is Ofra's Rodeo Drive. I forgot how gorgeous this was on the skin. More Ofra highlights for me, and I have a whole bunch. I don't mean like I need to buy more. I mean I need to use them more because I've got several. I feel like this was a mixed bag and it could be user error. I feel like the shades are nice. I feel like they work well, they blend well, and it's a nice look. But I always have problems with these 4 special shades right here. I don't know how to use them. If you have one of these palettes, would you tell me how you use these special shades? I wanted so much just to get one of the quads of special shades. I'm like, you know what? You have some and they never work for you the way you want them to. Now, I feel like once I used a different brush instead of a flat brush, I started out using this brush here, which is kind of like a flat packing brush. And it did a little bit better when and I don't know where I left it, when I used something that was a little bit fluffier and when I wet it. But I feel like this shade here, the lightest shade in here, I just can't get it to show up on my lids in a way that I want to see it. I'm very intimidated by this green, but what's interesting, I don't know if you can tell here, it looks more purple and then it's green. It's a really beautiful duochrome. I feel like this time I used more shades than I ever have before. I'm going to leave this out in a place where I can see it, like right behind me, like right back here. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes out that I reach for regularly, even when I'm not filming. But I think that if I put this back there, I might reach for it more because I really like the look I have on my eyes today. I think it's really beautiful. And I think it's one that I need to not worry about using it because I paid so much for it. Because I paid so much for it, I should really use it. This is not for me. Neither is this eyebrow, whatever it is from MAC. So mad at myself. I feel like this is the worst my brows have looked in a long time. And it's because the powdery, it's kind of like a powder cream hybrid with the sponge applicator on one side is so dark. And then the marker is so red. Oh, I have a hard time. And maybe they look okay to you and they might look okay from a distance, but up close, they don't pass muster, not at all. Another thing getting decluttered today is this eyeliner from Clinique. It doesn't do what I need it to do, which is stay in my waterline. I think that if I were to use it above my lash line, it might do a lot better, but I don't wear eyeliner like that anymore. My eyes are just too watery. And once I start, you know, kind of like doing this and at the corners of my eyes, and then I'm missing liner right here, is not a cute look, not at all. I will try the Brow Boss Gel again. I'll leave a pinned comment for you about how the Perversion mascara worked, because when I tried it this summer, oh, it was a smudgy disaster. And I only have it on my upper lashes today, so we'll see how it goes. But I really do like the Clinique lower lash mascara. I like it a lot. I think it's time to get rid of this liner from Lipstick Queen. I think it's a nice color and it goes great, especially under a very nude, but I feel like it's too dry. It's definitely, it lived its better life and I didn't get to it when it was in its good span of time. I'm gonna have to try this again with a different liner because it's too nude for me to wear on its own when I'm wearing a full face. When I don't really like the concealer lips look, and I feel like we're dangerously close to that here. I did have to clean off some of in the corners of my mouth. I just took a Q-tip and cleaned off just right here because I put it too far back in there and then it started to string and pull. And I don't like it when it does that. And I forgot about that, but I did heavily apply. And here I go again. Try and keep it up to the front though. I love the feel of it. So out of everything I tried today, I feel like these 6 items here, these are all smaller items, 3 pencil items and a small trial size. And then these 2 can just, I'm not going to keep them. They're not going to go back in my drawers. And this is a great way for me to, were any of these like terrible? No. This doesn't work for me shade-wise anymore. And it's okay, but it's not great. And I have so many really good bronzers. I don't want to keep something I don't love. And the same thing with all the rest of these, except for this is officially expired. I've been enjoying going through and trying a full face on of things that I wasn't sure about. Things that I wanted to make sure, do I still love you? Are you still worth the drawer space? Or can I declutter you, share you with a friend, get rid of you if you're expired, and things like that. So I hope this is helpful to you. And you may or may not have any of these products. If you don't have any of them, let this video inspire you to go through and try something that's kind of hanging towards the back of the drawer or the bottom of the makeup bag or someplace that you really haven't, you know what, I haven't tried you. Do I still love you? Do you still deserve space in my makeup bag? I think that's the most important thing to do, and to not use stuff that's expired. I forget how quickly stuff gets expired, and yet I still buy way too much. So my goal is to help you winnow it down by watching me do the same. And if you have any of these products and they work for you, I hope they work great and they're like excellent shining gems in your collection. The ones that I got rid of today just don't work for me. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to continue doing this. I'm going to try and do at least 1 a week until I feel like I have a better handle on what I have. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.